Hey, my name is Olivia Brown. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm from here. I play bass, that's my main instrument. I sing, and I also play piano. I love to write songs, and my songs I would describe as alternative, fusion, and funky, but they could be many other things as well. I would say when I was young, my biggest inspiration was hymns, because my family went to church. I love Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, classic death metal bands like Death. As I got older, I discovered Erykah Badu and thought it was incredible music. I got really into jazz when I was in maybe my 20s. Thelonious Monk, Charles Mingus, Ornette Coleman. And I would say there's also a big Jamaican influence. Got really into Bob Marley when I was in high school. Part of it was because I was playing bass, and the bass lines are really interesting in pretty much every Bob Marley song I've ever heard. They're like complex, there's great syncopation, they're very melodic, but they're not always very fast. So it was like an amazing way to like fall in love with the bass. The last artist I will mention right now would be Caribou, who I believe is from Ancaster or Dundas. Yeah. Which is very cool because I just was listening to him. I found him at the library and I was like, this is incredible music. And then I was like, what? They're local. No way. My parents love music. They both went to Mohawk College for music. My mom studied clarinet. My dad played piano when he was young and also flute in the Burlington Teen Tour Band. And he went to Mohawk for drums. They both work as school teachers. They just are very passionate about learning. The reason that they wanted my brother, sister, and I in music was just so that we could love learning. It wasn't really for a competitive reason or because we have to do what our parents do. They just thought that music was very fun, and they knew that it was a great way to strengthen your mind. So they put us into lessons. All three of us, Ian, Eleanor, and I all enjoy music very much because of that.
So it must be like weird for you to see like the music program at Mohawk at the moment shut its doors.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel very neutral about it, but I do wish that there was some sort of formal education in the area for a subject like music, especially the hands-on skill of it. It really is a trade, in my opinion, and you can learn a lot of things through the internet. Computers can do a lot of heavy lifting for you when it comes to writing songs, but there's something very, very magical about just knowing like all of your scales in every key, and you understand how they fit together, and you can build things on the spot with people you've never met live. You can read music you've never heard before. Those are all skills that you can just learn how to do, like how you can learn how to be a surgeon. But a lot of the art of learning it is lost when you don't have a group of people that are all like invested in teaching it and having a small scene kind of around learning the skills of being a musician. The way that it felt when I was there was that the school didn't really know what to do with the program, and it maybe hadn't known what to do with it for a while. Because when you have a subject like art or music as part of your institution, on paper, you won't necessarily see how that benefits the school, because there's a lot of extra expenses like maintaining pianos, having security at the building like after hours so that students can just practice. It also takes up more space because you need to have practice rooms for students. You know, there's subscriptions to music programs that you're going to need to provide. Just the maintenance and accessibility of it makes it a costly thing to have in the building. It doesn't necessarily attract a lot of people just because it's there, even if it's a great program. So you can end up with this situation where you have an expensive program with not that many students involved, but really it's making the whole school a great place to be because you have these creative thinkers that are now in the building. It felt like the school had been kind of slowly trying to like kill the program for a long time. So when it closed, I wasn't surprised. And I also feel that it was very hard to know how to like employ that department, because the needs of a musician right now are not the same as the needs of a musician like 20 years ago or 40 years ago. Interacting with technology and how the business side of things work is almost impossible for anyone who made their way in the industry like 40 years ago to teach. They have their network established, but they don't necessarily have any idea how to prepare someone. So I think that was causing a lot of issues as well, just within the program itself. People maybe not agreeing on what was best for students, or students not trusting that the process that the teachers had created for them suited their needs. And it just made it difficult. I could see it coming, if that makes sense. So it wasn't as disappointing for me as it maybe was for other people, because I just felt that it was going to end, just so it could reset or be something new. We'll see. I hope there'll be something like that again. Something I would just say generally to anyone that takes any program anywhere is that I would say that the one thing music school taught me is that it's the people you meet, where you go, that are the most valuable and precious thing in your life. Like, I know you because we went to the same school, and most of the opportunities I've had playing are just all from people that I met at school.
So what do you love about the music scene in Hamilton?
I love how kind the people are in the music scene. I love that there's variety. You can probably find someone who plays that style. You might have to like look a little bit, but I bet they're around. I mostly just like the vibe of people in Hamilton. As I grew up here, I just generally appreciate how people are pretty straightforward with you. It's just nice, and I think that comes out in the music. Like, even if the music is not what you're expecting, it's pretty likely that that person isn't trying to be something that they're not.
There's a realness in this city that can't quite be replicated anywhere else.
Yeah.
You could go out in the city, and I find that extremely admirable as somebody who struggles trying to find places to play. How are you finding these gigs, sis?
I feel very thankful that I got to be part of a generation of local people who played at the St. Hollywood. The Casbah is another one. Homegrown Hamilton, played there. I played at Baltimore House. I was kind of at the tail end of all of those venues, but I did play in all of them. There's a very good opportunity for people that want to put on events, because there's just not as many spaces as there used to be. What I am noticing though is that the new spaces that are here, yeah, they're doing a great job. Like, I really have been enjoying going to Vertigogo. It's a great room. Like, there's a big stage there. And I love that they're having all ages shows, and like kids can go put on a show there. I think it's nice that Corktown has got the upstairs sorted out so they can have more than one show a night there. And they're kind of prioritizing having local acts on their bills. Like lately, they've been trying to have bigger bills, so there's lots of music going on, but they do try to keep it like 2 local bands per bill. I recently played at Ooey Gooey's. It's beautiful. They set up a stage. They have a little PA going on. The room is a very nice vibe to be in. And my favorite thing is that the food and the drinks are pretty affordable. The space and venue, they're working really hard to make some very nice events happen. I think mostly they would have DJs in there. So it's sort of the underground, like, club vibes. But that said, that type of room sounds really good with jazz and funk because of the low ceiling, the lounge vibes. It just makes people want to dance when you're in that sort of room. I think the main reason I'm able to get booked is just because I've had my project for a long time. And so people know who I am. I started my band in 2018, and it's 2025 now. And I put out a bunch of songs in like 2019. Then we did actually get a good amount of momentum going before COVID. But because we're old, older or have been in the area for a while and aren't moving cities all the time, the venues that are here, they're oh yeah, we remember when you played like 2 years ago, or we met you when you were in that other band 8 years ago. And they'll be like, oh yes, you can put on a show.
What frustrates you about the music scene in Hamilton, if there is anything?
Well, I think that there's not always like good parking, like, or good load-in spots when you do have a gig. It's not really a frustration thing. It's more of just like a hope, is that people can feel safe going to shows. Because I generally do, but I also am a woman, and I know, like, I go to shows by myself, but I know there's people who are afraid to do that maybe, and they shouldn't be afraid to do that, especially when it comes to like listening to music. Oh, there's a lot of places with stairs and no elevators. And like I have some friends who have difficulty walking, or they have a wheelchair, and I want them to come to my show. So that's another thing that could be improved, I guess. Just accessible spaces is huge. It's such a big thing.